Outlander Season 7 is officially over, and now I'm in the biggest slump ever. Nothing I watch will ever match the level of Outlander until the 8th season comes around. So, let's talk about when Outlander Season 8 will be out and what we can expect from it. But first, we need to go over the events of the Season 7 finale because, seriously, what the hell just happened? On one hand, I'm somewhat disheartened. I was hoping for something else: war, reaction against Jamie for attempting to leave the military, greater eruptions, and more significant goals. In that sense, the episode felt disappointing. Then again, it conveyed one of the greatest spots of the show up until this point, something that even book perusers didn't see coming. My jaw is still on the floor. The episode opens with a tense moment as Jane is relentlessly questioned by a local journalist. Throughout the interrogation, she remains steadfast, showing no remorse or regret for her actions. There's not a flicker of hesitation as she is cast in the role of the ultimate villain, even going as far as being labeled a monster in the eyes of the public. Yet, despite this brutal portrayal, there's a certain sense of pride that she carries, owning her actions with an eerie confidence. Her complete lack of remorse makes her character even more intriguing, and as viewers, we can't help but feel a strange respect for her defiance in the face of overwhelming judgment. Meanwhile, on the other side of this whirlwind, William is seen in a frantic and desperate state, trying everything in his power to save Jane from her inevitable fate. In his search for help, he first turns to John Grey, hoping that the man who has been a constant in his life could offer a solution. However, knowing that John might not be enough, William swallows his pride and makes the difficult decision to approach Jamie. Let's be honest, William wouldn't have sought Jamie's assistance, especially considering the painful history between them. This is the man who shattered William's heart with years of lies, and yet, in his darkest hour, William has no other choice but to turn to him. This is a moment of pure desperation, and it speaks volumes about how dire the situation has become. Though Jamie initially agrees to help William in his quest to save Jane, their efforts ultimately fall short. When they finally locate Jane, they are met with the devastating reality she is already dead. The discovery leaves William shattered, unable to comprehend how things went so wrong, and this moment of loss marks a turning point in the story. However, there's more to this tragedy than meets the eye. This scene is not just about loss, it's about uncovering a deeper, darker secret that will unravel over the course of the story. Keep this revelation in mind, as it sets the stage for the twists and turns to come, and it's something that will be revisited as the plot progresses, shedding new light on the true nature of what's really happening behind the scenes. Early in the episode, we learn that Claire is fine. As she says, she decided to live. I don't know about you, but I really resented this season for building up storylines for just one episode and then dropping them completely in the next. This happened with Jamie's supposed death, Claire and John Grey's brief affair, and now with Claire's near-death experience. We spend an entire episode on these massive events, only for everything to return to normal by the next episode. I get that they needed to cram multiple storylines into a single season since the show is nearing its end, but this rushed pace left me feeling unsatisfied. It gave me serious Game of Thrones finale vibes, and I hate it. Let me know what you thought of it. Anyway, now that Claire is alive, there's no drama left on that front except for one very brief but significant scene. While she's bedridden, Claire sees Master Raymond enter her room. She's stunned, speechless. Master Raymond apologizes out of nowhere, tells her to have faith, and leaves. This, my friends, is the most important scene of the entire episode. If you don't remember, Master Raymond was a key figure when Claire lived in Paris and had her stillborn baby. Remember that dreadful time when Jamie had a duel, got into trouble, and Claire endured the worst pregnancy ever? How could you not? It was one of the most horrendous storylines of the show. And now, that same man who assisted with the stillbirth shows up in Claire's room. Coincidence? Absolutely not. I'll explain everything in a second. Claire also has a farewell moment with John Grey, which was heartwarming but left me confused. Does this mean we won't see John in Season 8? If so, I expected a more emotional send-off for such a key character. If he will return, then what was the point of this scene? Feel free to enlighten me in the comments. Now, it's time to talk about the biggest plot twist of the entire season. When William brings Jane's sister, Frances, to Jamie and Claire, I knew something was off. It felt strange that the finale dedicated so much time to her, a seemingly minor character. Plus, Frances was incredibly talented for a random side character. Turns out, she wasn't just another side character. As Jamie and Claire help Frances through her mourning, Claire learns that Frances's mother's name was Faith. She also sees a picture of Faith and feels a strange connection but doesn't dwell on it. Later, when Frances starts humming a little tune, Claire freezes. It's the same song she sang to her stillborn baby back in Paris. When Claire asks Frances where she learned the song, Frances says her mother taught her. At that moment, Claire realizes something monumental: her stillborn daughter, Faith, somehow survived. Frances is her granddaughter. Can you believe it? I'm still in shock. Who could have seen this coming after all these years? Certainly not me, especially since this storyline doesn't even exist in the books. So where the hell did all of this come from? What is all this about? If you have any answers or ideas, please let me know in the comments below because I'm truly baffled. Also, does this mean William had a romance with his half-niece? Seriously, Diana Gabaldon, my dear, are you okay? Do you have any explanation for all this? Because I'm out of words. Okay, moving on to a key moment in the story. William and Jamie finally had that highly anticipated face-off that fans had been waiting for all season. The tension had been building up, and we were all expecting something explosive, a confrontation full of raw emotion and intense dialogue. But honestly, when it finally happened, it felt surprisingly underwhelming. William, clearly full of unresolved anger and pain, delivered a gut punch of a line when he told Jamie that he would never, under any circumstances, call him his father. It was brutal, no doubt, and in that single sentence, William cut deeper than anyone could have expected. The weight of those words lingered in the air, and you could feel the gravity of the rejection. But, unfortunately, after that powerful moment, the scene fizzled out. It was shockingly brief and lacked the kind of emotional depth that one would expect from a confrontation that had been so carefully set up. There were no lingering words, no major breakthroughs, and no catharsis for either character. It was just over. Similarly, Brianna and Roger's reunion, which should have been a heartwarming and emotionally charged moment, felt flat as well. As expected, they came back together, but that was basically the extent of it. There was no real progression or evolution in their relationship, and their storyline ended on such a bland note. It was a simple, straightforward happy family ending, with no further complexities or twists to keep the audience engaged. And given how much anticipation surrounded their journey throughout the season, it's surprising that the writers didn't capitalize on that potential for more drama or exploration of their relationship. After all, theirs was one of the most exciting and dynamic storylines up until this point. So, to have it wrap up so easily, without any new hurdles or emotional tension, was a bit of a letdown. And while we're talking about underwhelming moments, let's not forget about young Ian. The news that he's becoming a father should have been a monumental moment for his character, yet it felt almost like an afterthought. We also find out that his dog is dead, which, while sad, didn't seem to have the impact it should have. His dog had been a loyal companion throughout much of the series, and its death could have been a poignant moment, but it was glossed over, leaving little emotional resonance. All in all, these moments, which could have been rich with drama and emotional depth, ended up feeling rushed and hollow, especially when compared to the build-up that preceded them. Now, what will happen in Season 8? Well, first of all, Jamie and Claire will put on their detective hats and go after Faith's traces. It's clear that somehow Master Raymond saved the baby, kidnapped her, and enabled her to live. But it's also clear that she didn't exactly live the best life. In order to make things right, Claire and Jamie will adopt Francesca, giving her the life she deserves. Honestly, this excites me a lot because seeing a young face in the show with lots of opportunities ahead will give the final season of the show a hopeful note, in my opinion. Then, the Mackenzies will at last join with Claire and Jamie. We will watch both of them attempting to tackle the secrets encompassing time travel all together, Then, at that point, share their discoveries with Claire and Jamie, explaining a few inquiries concerning their lives and encounters. Toward the finish of Season 8, we will observe Jamie and Claire's demise. We as a whole realize that they will bite the dust in light of a fire at their home. We don't have any idea why the fire will occur or precisely the way in which the couple will pass on, however we realize that this will be the best end for them. Then, at that point, that popular scene with Jamie's apparition before Claire's window will happen, and I'm getting chills simply mulling over everything. Let me know what you're most excited about for Outlander Season 8. Season 8 of the show will be out before the end of 2025. The filming is already complete, and it's expected that the show will hit stars around October 2025. For more weekly updates on Outlander, make sure to like and follow for all the details about the upcoming Outlander prequel series, Blood of My Blood. Watch the video on the screen.